Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Snug Wrestling. This is the Monday Night Raw review for February the 2nd of 2026. I am your host for Monday Night Raws going forward, Mr. Blood, and I am here with the Snug Wrestling crew. We had quite a great show tonight. Well, I wouldn't say great. I'd say we had a show tonight. I was being generous, and then I had to backtrack on it. But again, I'm Mr. Blood. I am joined with the host, I am joined as the host with the founder and creator of Snug Wrestling, Edgar, Toxic, and Tommy, who will be back in here there he is, just now. But yes, I am joined with the full panel tonight. We are going to discuss Monday Night Raw as it was and as it is. But before we do that, gentlemen, please let the people know how you are doing this evening.
I'm doing amazing. There's nothing really wrong with today. It's just been a day and boring as hell. Other than Raw, it was okay. We only had 3 matches tonight, which was interesting because I thought there would have been more matches, especially for the for this episode of Raw being the one straight after the Royal Rumble. So, I mean, but the show was okay. No complaints really on my side, but Tommy, what do you got to say?
The show was great for me. I did end up getting who Roman chose correctly. I was wrong about the women's world title, but still, I got one of them right. So, still for me, I actually liked the show. Just had some fun with a friend of mine. So, let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm chilling too, man. I'm still recovering from the long weekend. After going to that AAA show in Tijuana, which we put out a bunch of content from that show. So that was cool. And I was looking forward to Monday Night Raw because it's the Raw after the Rumble. There's a lot of things to look forward to for this episode. We did get some pretty decent follow-ups from, after the Rumble. Um, but the show kind of dragged for me, if I'm being honest, but we'll get into it when we get into it.
All righty. Well, thank you guys for letting everybody know how you're doing. And you know what? I agree with 2 points that were just said. Yes, it was extremely weird to only have 3 matches on the show, as Toxic said. I actually had to go back and Google the play-by-play of the night just to make sure that I wasn't leaving a match off while I was going through and creating my notes for this review. And I was like, hold up. 3? Really? Only 3 on a damn near 2.5-hour show? Almost criminal. But 2, I also agree with Edgar. It drug on for me. And we are going to get into this right now. But before we do, I do have an actual announcement that I would like to make for the fans of our channel and for the boys here. MegaCon 2026 is coming up next month in March here in Orlando, Florida. And one of the guests will be the GOAT himself, the never seen 17, John Cena. And the reason I bring this up is because I am currently working on trying to get an interview with John Cena when I am actually in person at the event, in costume, on camera, to score even a small exclusive interview with John Cena. So stay tuned for more details for that as the weeks toil on. But let's get into the start of the show. And let's kick off the show with the fact that we were in front of a crowd of Philadelphians, usually extremely vocal, usually very raucous. And tonight, I've got to be honest, guys, the crowd sucked. It was a bad crowd tonight. It was a bad crowd. It was rough. It was very rough. It was they really didn't come alive for damn near the entire evening, except for some nice "This is awesome" chants for the women's street fight match, and they were somewhat vocal for the Roman Reigns promo with Punk at the end of the show, which we'll get into. But they did somewhat pop for what opened the show, and that was, we cut to the broadcast. Bron Breakker's destroying ringside, left, right, and center. Now, for those of you who didn't watch the Rumble live or didn't see the highlight reel from the show tonight, Bron Breakker was the second entrant in the 2026 Men's Royal Rumble, and unfortunately, on his way to the ring to meet Obafemi in the middle of the ring, he was blindsided by a masked man. We've never seen this before. This is brand new stuff. And when it came down to it, he was super kicked. He was thrown into the barricade. He was thrown into the steps, thrown in the ring, eliminated immediately, and then curb stomped for his troubles. And he was out of the Rumble in less than 10 seconds. So he is furious, tearing things apart, threatening the commentators. And then all of a sudden, the Vision comes out to try to get him under control. He's furious because Adam Pearce comes out to try and scold him and tell him that's not going to fly. You know, you're acting like a child, you're immature, and this is exactly why you got eliminated in the Royal Rumble and you did not win it. Getting antagonized by the GM, a little bit of payback for Adam Pearce. Nice to see him showing some balls tonight, unlike last week. Now, here's the thing where it gets even crazier. When it looked like things were going to get sour or even more sour, where the Vision turns their backs to try and stop Bron from charging up the ramp at Adam Pearce, who returns but L.A. Knight, yeah, with a steel chair to all three remaining members of the Vision, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Bronson Reed. He beats them down with the chairs, and then he hightails it out of the arena while Bron Breakker is stood there flabbergasted and yelling at Paul Heyman to tell him what they're supposed to do next. And this is how we kicked off Monday Night Raw. Gentlemen?
I was like, wait, hold on. Because usually there's like the little drone shot of the city that they're in before the show starts, but I'm like, wait, that's not there. We're just cutting straight to it and Braun's out. Okay, well, this is interesting. But as soon as I saw Braun, I knew that he was gonna tear shit up. I mean, it's just in his nature. I mean, his name is literally Bron Breakker. He breaks things. Literally, the point of his name. But everything in this first segment of the show was fine. But the thing that made me pop was obviously the return of LA Knight. Well, the return on Raw, if you can say that, because he returned at the Rumble. But I'm glad that Knight is back. It's felt way longer than just 2 months, because that's what it said on the, like, what's it called, the recap on what happened to LA Knight. But I just couldn't believe that it was 2 months, and I'm excited to see where the Vision story goes next, because I mean, Braun's out of hand. I mean, Austin Theory is probably the one that's a major suspect to everyone. Even Adam Pearce, he said, "Oh, the last time we saw a masked man, it was Austin Theory." So I mean, he brings up a good point. But yeah, everything in this first part of the show was fine.
There was something that Adam Pearce said at the top of the ramp that made me go, damn, dude, what the hell? And that was when he looked at Bron Breakker behind a barricade of guards, and he said, "I'm going to give you a present. I'm going to let you keep your job after that lackluster performance at the Rumble." When he said that, my response was, damn. Because I'm like, holy shit, dude. That in itself, you're really trying to antagonize him, huh? It's no wonder you put a barricade of security right in front of you, because you knew that was going to end up getting you just full on broke. It is literally in Bron Breakker's name. He breaks things around, and then he breaks you and your spine. That is literally his entire thing. You're muted, Snug.
Sorry, I'm not used to this. I'm still getting used to this, me not hosting thing or whatever. But It was refreshing to see the way that they started off Monday Night Raw tonight with just cutting straight to Bron Breakker destroying ringside instead of their usual walk-ins that they do at the beginning of every show, which usually leads to a fucking 5-6 minute video package after every PLE showing all the highlights from, the past weekend. This time they got straight to it, and I was like, oh shit, okay, here we go. So that was cool. And it's Bron Breakker, man. He's like an intense fucking guy. So every time he's on the screen, I like automatically pay attention. And yeah, he's pissed off because obviously everything that happened at the Royal Rumble, he got embarrassed by some guy in a mask that Bron Breakker and Paul Heyman believe it's Seth Rollins. There was a clip that was going around on social media of Paul Heyman and Bron Breakker in the golf golf cart after the match, where Bron Breakker's like, it's Seth Rollins. How could he be here? And blah, he just had surgery. So they believe it was Seth Rollins. But, after that whole thing that happened with Adam Pearce tonight, the security guard, then LA Knight showing up and attacking them put that idea in your head like, it could have been LA Knight too who was under that mask, So yeah, I thought this was very interesting, although I was hoping we would find out more of this masked person, maybe a few more ideas, a few more clues, but there was like nothing, hardly any mention or any clues of who that might be, and that was the only thing that was kind of But other than that, I did really enjoy this opening a lot.
Yeah, as far as it goes, I liked the opener because it was refreshing. It was different. It was nice to not see, Gunther coming out to talk, or the Vision coming out to talk, or, some combination of that. It was very nice. When it came down to it, I was very, very happy with, mostly in this segment, Adam Pearce reclaiming his fucking manhood and his spine. Granted, it was behind a wall of security guards, but security guards in WWE is like pouring fucking water through the thinnest sheet of paper. They don't do shit. When it came down to it, I did like that LA Knight is back, and he is back in the best way as an antagonistic force against the Vision to constantly foil their plans, and I like that a lot. But let's go ahead and move on. Our first match of the night was El Grande Americano versus Javon Evans. Now, this was a one-on-one. Now, we go through the fact that Javon Evans was the Iron Man in the men's Rumble match, lasting a little over 40 minutes in the men's and having a great showing. But as commentary said, he ate an F5. He ate a tsunami. He got German suplex. He got beat the hell up to get thrown the hell over that top rope. So he shows up tonight wrapped in kinesio tape on his back, on his shoulders, his arms. And El Grande comes out, obviously, with Rayo and Bravo, and they have a one-on-one match. Now, when it came to this match, personally, I thought this match might have been Javon's most underwhelming showing. And not really because of Javon, but because El Grande, Ludwig El Grande, was in control for the majority of the match. And it seemed like Javon wasn't able to get a lot of his offense in. He did get some things in. With an insane tornado 360 kick to the back while El Grande was down. Obviously, his awesome, I think he calls it the red dot, which is supposed to reference a reticle on a sniper or a gun, where he does that slingshot off the rope and then does a backflip into a double kick to the face. That was great. But really, he was getting his ass kicked for most of this match. Now, when the El Grande Americano tried to cheat by getting, I think it was Rayo who tried to hand him that metal plate to slip into his mask, we had another return to the main roster. The original El Grande Americano, El Circa, Chad Gable, who I'm still excited to see what that beard looks like, because I've never seen him with facial hair, and I'm just intrigued. But he comes out, he doesn't get involved, but he distracts Americano and company with his entrance and his thank yous. that gives Javon just enough time to turn the tables and hit an amazing OG cutter for the 1, the 2, and the 3. All things aside, I feel like this was a fine opener. It's hard to call this a good match. It's definitely not a great match. It was a match, but it definitely, in my opinion, set the precedent, or not the precedent, it set the tone of how the rest of the night was going to feel. That it could have been something more, but never really got close to hitting that mark. And that's what this match kind of set the tone for the rest of the evening. Gentlemen?
Just so I can avoid confusion, at this point, I just want to call Ludwig's El Grande Americano El Grande Mexicano because he wears the green, white, and red. So that's what I'm gonna call Ludwig's El Grande. But this match was fine. I mean, Javon looks amazing as always, but I just wish he would have had more offense in. But that's still fine because I mean, all matches of Javon, I think he's only had like 1 or 2 bad ones. But I mean, it was okay. I mean, and I fully expected for El Grande Americano to come out and just distract, but I wasn't expecting the pop that he got. He got such a big pop from the crowd, and just I was not expecting that whatsoever. So I was like, okay, I like where this is going. But I would like to see, like, we know this version of El Grande is Chad, right? So part of this decision to basically turn him face, this El Grande, makes me wonder if American Made will end up turning face soon. I would like to see that, but at the same time, that would also, like, I don't know, it would just seem weird to me. But I would like to see that happen because how is Chad going to be a heel and a face at the same time?
You make a very great point here, Toxic, about you can argue that his demeanor and his reasoning thus far is that of a face. You could also argue, however, that Chad Gable is still a heel, but jealous that someone else stole his shit and is now using it and got more over with it than he did. Now, you could argue that in character, he's jealous of that, and that's why he's targeting Ludwig Kaiser's El Grande Americano. However, on top of that, I would also like to note that you got to imagine that American Made knew Chad was El Grande Americano originally anyway. There were several segments that they tried to hide that very fact from Adam Pearce that they were all involved in. So if they know that this entire time he was El Grande, we already saw them say it months ago in an interview that they knew the current El Grande was Ludwig Kaiser. So you have to wonder, are they going to reunite with Chad, or are they now going forward as completely separate acts? But Tommy?
The match itself was a match. I honestly wish that Javon got more in, not just from offense-wise, but just to show him off more. I get that he's not at 100%, but he has shown time and time again he doesn't have to be at 100% to go balls to the damn walls with him. Like, he has shown that in NXT. He has shown that on the main roster. He doesn't need to be 100% just to go all out. But I have a feeling, like, at the next PLE, or maybe at Mania, I'm not sure which one, they could go either way with it. El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano. That's probably what we're going to end up getting at some point. And that is going to be one hilarious match.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know how much I love this whole thing with El Grande Americano and the faction, the Bravo, the Riot, all this stuff is so entertaining to me. So It's just crazy that El Grande Americano in America gets no crowd reaction, no pop. He's a heel. And then you see him in AAA literally like the same week, and he is the biggest face of the company. El Grande Americano is, right. So it's just crazy to me how that works. And now you have the original Grande Americano coming back, getting the pop in America. The fans missed him, and Chad Gable is the babyface in this situation. At least that's what it feels like at this point in time. But we'll see what happens more with that. I was excited about this because they're following up with one of the big moments from the Royal Rumble on Saturday, right? Which is what they should do. This is one of the major things that came out of that Rumble. So the fact that it was on Raw just a couple days later, I thought it was amazing. So I loved everything about this, man. Even the match. I know, Tommy, you do bring up a good point. Well, you wish you could have got, seeing Javon Evans get a little bit more in, but he won the match. It was due to a distraction, but Javon Evans won the match. He still looked good because even after being in that Royal Rumble for how long was it? Like 40 something minutes or something like that?
A little over 40 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, he still beat El Grande Americano. So everyone came out looking really good in this, man, I thought. I thought this opening segment was great.
I definitely would agree that it was good business. I think every goal was accomplished. Javon still got the win. El Grande is still technically protected in defeat through distraction, but his heel shit is over. And we get the return of Chad Gable to a loud pop. So now it's also doubly good because now not only do we know that the El Grande heel persona from Ludwig is working, we know the face persona from Chad Gable is working. And that's going to tell the back, hey, let's move forward with this story. Let's give it something. It could wind up being one of the most entertaining segments on Raw going forward. But speaking of segments on Raw, great segue, I am not bullshitting when I say before we even get to the second match, we have got about 3 or 4 things to fucking cover because they only had 3 matches on this show and they paced them terribly apart, at least extremely lopsided. So the first thing we're going to talk about, following up from the opener, backstage segment with Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman, where Adam Pearce is demanding Paul Heyman remove Bron Breakker from the building, even though it starts with Heyman demanding that Adam Pearce make a match for Bron Breakker versus LA Knight. Yeah. However, Adam Pearce says, well, I've already escorted him out of the building because I'm not picking favorites. As much as I like him, you cannot just take control and run roughshod all over my show. So Paul can't really act like Pearce is trying to screw them over when he's still punishing LA Knight as well. That remains to be seen. We see him later. But as far as it goes, Adam Pearce told Paul Heyman, you get him out of my building or there will be severe consequences. Heyman tries to threaten Adam Pearce. Nothing comes of it because Adam is shielding himself behind corporate rhetoric, and it's working. Your quick thoughts on this, gentlemen?
Not a lot of thoughts. I mean, I knew we were going to end up getting LA Knight versus one member of the division. I didn't think it was going to be Logan or Bronson because Bronson had the match with Penta. So it had to either be Theory or Braun, but we didn't get the match because LA Knight went bye-bye. Not really, but not any thoughts about it. It was a segment with Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce, which we've seen for the past couple of weeks in their segments.
The only thing I've really got to say about it is yet another segment of Adam Pearce finally getting his balls back from the Vision, since they were just yanked off of this man a while back.
Yeah, what a complete 180 Adam Pearce did in just a week. Last week seemed like he was playing right into the Vision's hand, and now he's like bulking up at him and talking shit to Paul Heyman is in Pennsylvania, not Pennsylvania, in where were they? Philadelphia.
Philly.
You know, where it's Paul Heyman, that's, you know, his city, as Paul Heyman claims it. Watch how you talk to me in this city of all places, ECW town. So that was cool to see. The other thing too, I saw something online earlier today that I thought was really crazy. Some people believe that Adam Pearce was the one that was under that hood, which got me thinking, like, it kind of makes sense, and that could be a reason why Adam Pearce is so cocky all of a sudden, because he's like, "Are you guys fuck with me? All right, I'm gonna fuck with you back." But I don't know.
That's actually really cool.
Balor could be under it.
Why would Finn Balor, who's the heel right now, attack another heel for no reason?
Because he wasn't in the Rumble, so he's pissed.
And you think the one person he's going to go after is the guy that's backed by 3 other large men? Who's going to have Finn Balor's back? JD, who's up for surgery, or Cowardly Dom? I don't think it was Finn. Unless Raquel's throwing hands with Bronson, I doubt it. All right, we move on to another segment, and I was going to do this one second after this next one, but since we're already on the subject of Finn Balor got a video package. In fact, the only bit of Balor we got on the show were 2 video packages. Now, if we remember correctly, last week, Finn Balor originally came to CM Punk out of respect, thanking him for giving Finn his flowers in his home country. Now, when it came down to Finn trying to get into the Rumble, Adam Pearce told him, hey, well, I got no spots left. And everybody, including Finn specifically, felt that that was bullshit, which led to tension between him and Liv Morgan. Now, at the end of that show, Finn Balor, after a match, or during a match, I should say, between CM Punk and AJ Styles for AJ Styles' final ever title bout in WWE, it gets interrupted, and Finn Balor beats the shit out of CM Punk with 3 coup de grace to end the show. So we cut to this week, and we have Finn Balor, in my opinion, finally cutting some main event promo shit, going on about how this entire business was built on respect and that he operated himself as a respectful individual for the entire 20-year duration of his career, and realizing that respect was getting him nowhere. And now he is going to take what he wants and stop asking and stop doing it respectfully. I personally thought this was a great video package for Finn Balor, kind of rehabilitating him, in my opinion, to the main roster, who only sees him as a Judgment Day guy. But this is a guy with an axe to grind, with a massive chip on his shoulder. Remember, people forget, he was the first ever Universal Champion. He never lost that title. You can argue Finn Balor is the only world champion in WWE today, former world champion, that essentially never actually lost their world championship. If you really think about that, he's the only one. So, in my opinion, this was a great video package. It made Finn and made him sound and made him look like an actual threat and a serious catalyst on CM Punk's radar between now and Chamber and now up through Mania. So, gentlemen, what did you think about this?
The video package was amazing. I mean, I felt like it was great for Finn Balor. I mean, probably just to explain himself, which he desperately needed to, because, I mean, we were all like, why the fuck did you do that? I mean, you just told him, hey, I respect you, you respect me. Yeah, but I liked the video package. Like Blood said, it rehabilitated him to, like, actually feel like a main roster guy other than just some dude that hides behind bitch ass Dom. I'm just kidding. I'm not calling him that. But it was fun. It was a video package, and I really don't have any complaints about it.
Yeah, it really did fix him more to put him back into the main event level stuff that he was absolutely capable years ago with. As Blood said, people forget that this man was the first ever Universal Champion and had to relinquish it next day because Seth injured him. So that's the biggest thing here with these, is the fact that it is rehabilitating him back into showing that he absolutely is main event level material. Absolutely. Instead of hiding behind dumbass Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonald's.
Yeah, this seems, it feels like a reintroduction for Finn Balor in the main event title picture, and it's about goddamn time. Fucking 10 years later, it seems like. He had a couple world title matches over the course of these 10 years, I believe, but I mean, I can't remember any of those title matches ever feeling like he was a serious competitor or potential winner for the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, he has won like the IC title, and you know, he was part of the Judgment Day. He has been taken serious, but not as a main event world champion. So it's, yeah, man, I'm glad that they're starting to do these little things, these video packages with Finn Balor. I'm excited, man. I'm happy for him because I was really sad when he had to relinquish it the next day, man. That shit sucks. So yeah, I'm pumped for this.
And again, I'd like to note, and I reiterate this just to clear up any confusion from what I had previously said. Every single person that has been a champion in the last 10 years since Balor won that Universal title, he's the only one who never actually lost it, because almost everybody else either regained it, had a second run, or won a different world title. He's the only person on the active roster who has won a world championship and never actually lost it, because he never held one again to lose it then. Even Seth, who's out right now, he has relinquished a world title, but he has lost others. This is a different scenario with Finn, so I'm very excited to see what comes of this. Do I think he'll be a world title holder? Probably not. But am I excited to see him back where I feel, has always belonged? Absolutely. In the world title picture. Now we move on. Speaking of former world champions, Gunther comes out to the ring in one of the most rage-baiting ways I have ever seen in my life. As we all know, at the Royal Rumble this past Saturday, Gunther retired AJ Styles in what, in my opinion, was probably top 3 AJ Styles matches of his WWE career. When it came down to it, it was a hard-fought match. Gunther won, AJ passed out, and had a beautiful farewell to the audience. But the one thing WWE doesn't seem to do anymore is when people retire, usually they'll go out on the next Monday Night RAW, and they'll have a goodbye or a farewell speech to the audience. That's what they used to do. So when AJ Styles' music hits, the entire arena assumes it's AJ coming to give everybody a farewell, say goodbye, because all he did was wave to everybody in the arena. He didn't say a piece. He didn't talk about what his career meant to him. He didn't say thank you to the fans. He was gone. But lo and behold, who comes out doing a very, very bootleg version of AJ's entrance motion? The Ring General, the career killer, which is now on his Titantron, by the way, Gunther, comes out and says, when you step in the ring with me, it's going to go the same way that it went for Goldberg, John Cena, and AJ Styles. Your careers and your legacy die. Now, when he was talking shit, out came a person I was not expecting at all. In fact, hadn't even seen him on main roster TV with AJ in over a month, so thought they had moved him on from it. Here comes Dragon Lee with all the spit, piss, and vinegar that I've ever seen him with. And this dude came up and just straight up fucking flying kneed Gunther right out of the ring, hit him with an insane suicide dive, and then began to continuously beat the fucking crap out of Gunther until Gunther nailed him with the ring bell. and then mercilessly beat the piss out of him, put him in the sleeper until Adam Pearce and Jordan and everybody else came out and tried to pull him off. Then went back again and choked his ass out, dangling him from the top ropes while in the sleeper, hangman style, to where Dragon Lee went limp like he just broke his neck from a noose hanging. This was very effective to show that Gunther can drop the petty, boisterous, obnoxious taunting and still show you that when he wants to, he's a fucking killer. And Dragon Lee learned the hard way, if you're going to take a shot at the king, you best not miss. Gentlemen, what did you think about this?
So as soon as I hear AJ's music, I'm like, holy fucking shit. Is he actually here? Or is this, am I going crazy, or is he actually here? And then I see this dude that looks like he's in his 40s in a hunchback position, trying to do the AJ Styles running in place thing, or that he does, or he did during his entrance, and it's fucking Gunther. Fuck him. But I wasn't expecting Dragon Lee whatsoever either. But now that Dragon Lee came out, I think I know who's next to go. And that, unfortunately, I think is Rey Mysterio.
It's possible, but I would like to remind you, Toxic, commentary reminded us. Rey Mysterio was supposed to be here tonight, but suffered multiple injuries during the Rumble.
Oh my God.
So, unless they are kayfabe injuries, he might actually be out again. And he did just return from injury. But we can hope they're kayfabe. And we can hope that in Dragon Lee's honor and defense, Rey Mysterio comes a calling to take on Gunther, because then I think you might be right. Keep in mind, Rey has nothing left to accomplish in his career. He's done it all. He's been a world champion, U.S. champion, IC champion, tag champion. He's a Hall of Famer. He has nothing left to prove. So if you ask me, he's the perfect person for Gunther to retire next.
But, I mean, at the same time, I don't want that to be the case, because Rey is fucking goated. He's what, in his 50s? And act like age doesn't fucking exist. I mean, I don't want to see Rey go yet. I mean, it's bound to happen eventually, but just not yet, please. And don't even think about having Dragon Lee go, because he is not even near as ready to go.
So, Tox, here's another thing to think about. I did see an article as of recently that full-blown said that Rey is the last man standing on the current roster left of the WCW era. He's the last one left. And I would not be surprised if Rey Mysterio is, in fact, Gunther's next target. I saw another meme earlier today, another one of Gunther being Thanos, but on the gauntlet, in gray, you had the 3 that he already took out. But then a few of the others, I saw Chris Jericho on there for some reason. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But one of the ones that I did see lit up was Rey Mysterio. So, as much as I really don't want it to happen, it's bound to happen at this point. He needs to go. As much as we don't want him to, because like you said, man acts like age doesn't exist. He's over here moving around like he's in his 20s. But as I just stated, he's the last man standing from the WCW era. And at this point, let him go. But fuck Gunther. Over here doing the hangman shit with Dragon Lee. It needs to stop. He needs to just shut the fuck up. Because he doesn't.
Well, I'm a little biased when it comes to Dragon Lee because he's from the same hometown that my parents are from in Mexico. So I automatically popped when I saw him step up to Gunther. Um, but this was great for Dragon Lee because this is one way to make a star, someone young, fresh, up and coming like Dragon Lee. You know, you step up to the most hated guy in the game right now, Gunther, and then Gunther takes him out. You know, so you put a lot of babyface sympathy on Dragon Lee. The people are going to start to care more for Dragon Lee, I think, I hope. You know, he got his choked out by the monster heel that Gunther is, you know. So that's going to put a lot of fanfare on Dragon Lee, I think.
I agree. I agree, especially since Dragon Lee had the balls to take a shot at Gunther to begin with. It also shows the courageousness and the guts of Dragon Lee to do something that many would feel is just plain fucking suicide, to just run up in there. Because let's put it this way, Dragon Lee still stood a great chance of at least putting belt to ass on Gunther. Would I say that I ever believe in a million years he beats him? I can't say no, because Chad Gable has also bested Gunther. It was a count out, but he's done it. You know,
Yeah.
Jey Uso has beaten Gunther. It took him fucking 5 tries, but he did it. You know, Sami Zayn, the biggest upper mid carder there is, dethroned Gunther, 666-day IC title reign. You could argue that out of all those guys I just named, the fastest, the most agile, probably right under Chad Gable, the most athletic, or right above him, the most athletic, is Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee might have a shot of at least taking a chip out of the armor of Gunther. And I do think this is great for Dragon Lee, because you go to the right audiences, the right stages, the right crowds. When they put Dragon Lee in front of them, they're going to go apeshit for Dragon Lee because of how much they hate Gunther. It's a great way to build a star.
Now, when it comes to Rey Mysterio, I can see why you guys would think like this is going to lead to Rey getting retired by Gunther, because he retired AJ and Cena and all these other people. And as much as that does make sense, and as much as Rey Mysterio is the one to give back to the business, and I'm sure would not mind putting Gunther over and giving Gunther that honor of retiring a career like Rey Mysterio, I don't see that happening. Why? Because the WWE loves Rey Mysterio. You know, I don't think they're going to force Rey Mysterio to lose his career to Gunther. I think that honor should go to Dominic Mysterio instead. I think they can tell a better story with that than just doing the same thing and just feeding Gunther another legend like Rey Mysterio. Yeah, man, I just think it makes more sense for Dom to be the one to retire Rey. Although I do agree it's going to happen soon, but I think it should go to Dom.
I actually agree with you as well on that. Though I don't disagree with the boys that, you know, it would make sense for Gunther to be the one to take Rey out. I also agree more that it makes more emotional sense for Rey to be taken out by his son, especially the story you could tell if maybe at the very end, Dom finally reconciles with Rey in that final match. And, you know, that match is over. He's beaten Rey and they hug in the ring as father and son. What a moment that would create. I could see that being the story that you tell for Dominic and Rey going into Mania, and it being at Mania. Rey goes for the IC title one last time. I could see it. But let's go ahead and move on here, gentlemen. Now, up next, and you guys can keep this your thoughts on this brief, unless you have something more, interesting to say. But it's hard to call this interesting. The Bella Twins reunite on Monday Night Raw for the first time, apparently, in 7 years, because the COVID years were 2.5 years squeezed together into what felt like 6 months. But when it comes down to it, I did not realize it has been that long since the Bellas originally quit from WWE on their Legends contracts because they had a falling out with the company over something regarding women or politics or whatever the fuck it was. But when it came down to it, the good Bella is back, Bree, and looks great, comes out there, and then all of a sudden the Bellas open their mouth, and I remembered exactly why I used to hate listening to them cut promos together, because it's a little awkward, it's a little floppy, it was a very sloppy back and forth promo with awkward pauses, and they kind of fumble through it to get to the "we're coming for the tag team titles in the women's division. We're the original tag team," says Nikki. Fuck you. You are not the original women's tag team. I am so fucking sorry. And you weren't even the best in your day. Lay Cool was better. But when it came down to it, the crowd barely gave a fuck for this. At the very end, when the girls try to start the yes chants, there's only the one section directly in front of hard cam behind them. When the camera pans up, it's just a cutout square of people doing yes, and everybody else around them looks bored to fucking tears. But what did you guys think of this? I thought, I get it. You want to tell everybody, but this didn't have to be a segment. We already assumed if Brie was back, it meant tag team division.
I didn't give a fuck about this. I almost slept. You see right there where I was watching Raw? I almost slept. Almost went. I'm serious when I say this. I almost slept through this. And I almost missed this because of that. But yeah, it was just boring as shit.
So, are they baby faces now? Is that how this is working?
No, Tommy. They just acted like baby faces for no absolute reason.
Well, he makes a great point, because Nikki started off this promo by antagonizing the crowd because the Eagles lost. So she started off healing, and then they ended it with trying to have a babyface connection with the crowd. He does ask a very good question.
That was a question that we've been asking since the Rumble anyways, is now that Brie is back, are they going to end up being baby faces? What the hell is going to happen with literally all of the heel shit that they did with Nikki Bella? That's really my only thought on it, is, are they truly baby faces now? And what the hell are you doing scrapping literally everything you just did with Nikki?
Yeah, this did not help clarify any of the questions that we had after the Rumble. Is pretty much what you guys mentioned. Are they baby faces now because everyone was happy to see them back together and they're cheering for them, but Nikki Bella was acting like a total bitch for the past 2 months? But at first, going into this, I was kind of rolling my eyes. I'm like, oh, here we go. But Mr. Blood, you said it right, man. The good twin is back, because at least Brie Bella, when she talks, at least she sounds like a genuine, real person instead of someone trying to act a certain way. Or the way that she came out, Brie Bella, and just laid out the reason why she came back made sense. We're back because we want the tag team titles, and that's what we're here to do. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she, obviously I'm paraphrasing, but the way that she said it, she sounded like a mature, grown adult woman, unlike Nikki Bella. So that was refreshing, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected.
Well, guys, we were rewarded for suffering through that segment, because thank God, it's kind of like a video game. We got through all that tedious fucking bullshit, and because we farmed and we grinded out the game, we got the achievement we were chasing, and then we were rewarded with some good old DLC content, because we finally unlocked a fucking another match. The next match on the show felt like it was like 25 minutes to get to this match from the first match, maybe even 30 or 40. It felt like it took an eon to get from match 1 to match 2. Bronson Reed versus Penta. Now, this match, started off with Bronson immediately in control. I mean, the second he got a chip.
Are we skipping over Obafemi?
Oh no, we're not.
Okay, sorry.
That's fine, Snug. There's an order to these things. But
Yeah, Obafemi was first, wasn't it?
but I was gonna. Okay, so let's talk about. All right, cut this whole part out. Okay, thanks, Snug. That's your editing, by the way. So have fun with that. Up next, we had what felt like a treat because what I thought was going to be a tag match that was going to have the War Raiders, where Eric and Ivar are in the ring, ready to face off against. We don't fucking know because no one mentioned the team on commentary they were supposed to face. All of a sudden, we get a main roster visit from Obafemi, the Nigerian Derula, who came out to a great, reaction. Not the best, because honestly, this Philly crowd sucked tonight, and I feel like he deserved more. But he came out, and I thought, wow, Oba's in a tag match? Who the fuck's he with? And then we find out he's a free agent because he hasn't been signed yet, and he's, a guest on Raw. He goes in that ring, and the first thing he does is clothesline the shit out of Eric. And then he fucking absolutely just chest slap palms down Ivar. Hits one of them with another insane clothesline, Eric. And then on Ivar, he actually hits the fall from grace to stand tall, and the segment is over. It was basically just, hey, we want you to fly to Philadelphia and go out there, beat up two established guys, and then pose, and then you're good. And I felt really bad for Eric and Ivar, as great as Obafemi looked, because I thought, did you guys really fly these dudes to Philadelphia or make these guys come all the way to Philly so they could get their ass kicked in the middle of someone's entrance? And that was it. I'm imagining they had a match off air, but even then, like at one point, these guys were serious threats. And this young up-and-coming prospect just destroys them in 4 moves. And I was like, I mean, it's great for Oba. I don't know how that makes the War Raiders look as a tag team that you want to keep strong as a threat in the division if you ever need them to be cycled into another match. But okay. What did you guys think of this? Quick thoughts.
As soon as we come back from commercial break, because I'm not like Blood and have ad-free Netflix, or whoever else has ad-free, I don't care. But as soon as I come back from commercial, I'm like, okay, we're getting a tag match. That wasn't announced, but we always get non-announced matches all the time. So the War Raiders theme's cuts, and then I'm like, okay, who is it? What team are they facing? And it's fucking Obafemi. I'm like, what the fuck? I was not expecting Oba to show up whatsoever. I popped big for this. This is Oba's Raw debut because he had his SmackDown debut back in December or something like that. But I'm kind of stuck on where I would like to see Oba because Oba looked good on SmackDown, but he looked good on Raw. So I'm confused on where I would want him to be. But if I had to pick only like one, it would probably be Raw, just so I can watch him every week.
I can see it right now. If what happens in the main event segment that we'll talk about later, I can see it right now within the next year, maybe even 2, your new World Heavyweight Champion, Derula Obafemi. That's what I would love to see, especially with how good his NXT championship reigns have been. I would love to see a world title run for the ruler of former NXT.
Yeah, I think somewhere down the line we're bound to see that for sure. I mean, commentary has been putting him over as the future Obafemi, when probably not anytime soon, but somewhere down the line, yeah. But yeah, this was crazy because usually when you have big guys like this come in and debut, like Rusev, they put him versus like Akira Tozawa at first, and like a lot smaller guys, just to kind of highlight their size and their strength, right? But no, they put Obafemi with two big ass dudes, two bad motherfuckers like the Viking Raiders, who have done great things in the tag team division, right? He just comes in and just squashes them. Well, it wasn't a squash, it wasn't even a match, but I thought that was really impressive. I thought it was different. It was good. It made Obafemi look amazing. But the thing that stood out to me about this whole thing was the fact that Michael Cole said, if I'm Adam Pearce, I would put pen and paper on this guy. So they haven't even announced if he's going to be on Raw or SmackDown. Like, no one knows. So it's going to be interesting.
He definitely feels more like a Raw guy to me. SmackDown's had a lot of additions. Obafemi feels Raw coded because of how much stock they're trying to put into him. And if they truly do believe Raw is the bigger show, the better show, which we'll get to the main event, but Roman said that himself on the mic, then I would put Oba on Raw. But moving on, because we finally unlocked another match after waning through segment after segment after, and I can't even call the Oba stuff a match. That was a segment and an angle. Bronson Reed versus Penta. Now, this was set up because obviously Bron Breakker had been banned from the building, and there was a match that needed to happen involving the Vision because of their weekly chicanery. So, in the first segment that involved Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman, when Paul Heyman demanded Bron Breakker have a match against LA Knight, Adam Pearce told him to piss off and said, no, but here is a match that is going to happen. You better go tell Bronson Reed to prepare for his match against Penta, and that's why we're here. Penta started off this match getting flattened like a pancake in the corner because the moment it started, and I mean the damn moment it started, Bronson Reed body splashed this man in the corner and folded him like laundry. This would continue to happen throughout the match where Bronson Reed was just in control of Penta. Penta had a hard time recovering through this match. He fought back a few different times, but Bronson Reed just continuously overpowered his offense and wound up. I mean, even at one point, this amazing power bomb converted into a power slam midway through the air was a very cool move, even nailing a Death Valley driver later on in the match. But of course, it's the Vision. So you know that means interference. Austin Theory very slowly creeps up onto the apron to cause a distraction. Penta super kicks his teeth down his throat. This leaves it open for Bronson Reed to hit that Death Valley driver. But however, that only happens because when Logan gets on the ropes, the ref, for some reason, is too close. And I don't know why Penta just didn't go around him. Fully clacks the fucking ref and Logan at the same time with a forearm. And the ref goes down, as the refs do in WWE, like a bitch, from a love tap onto essentially his shoulder, which, because Logan got most of it. Death Valley driver, tsunami, and a visual pin on Penta, which I thought was important. A visual pin on Penta, the 1, the 2, and the 3. Now, after the match, we think, oh, well, shit, and I'm wrong, I'm incorrect. Let me correct myself. It was a 1, a 2, and a 3 visual pin. However, what stopped this was LA Knight, who came back in with another interference, taking a massive and cool BFT shot on Bronson Reed onto a steel chair on the outside of the ring to where Bronson could not make the 10 count. So even though he got the visual pin on Penta, you could argue WWE kept him protected in defeat because of interference on the babyface side, and the heels left the arena side to chase chase LA out of the building. Penta wins, rolls out. Bronson looks visibly fucking furious, and that was our second match of the night. Guys, what do you think?
I don't have any complaints or good things to say about it. The match was fine for me. Most of the matches were. It was just fine. I mean, yes, LA interfering is obviously a big thing, and then The only thing I thought was weird is Bronson Reed losing to Count Out. That's the only thing I found weird because I mean Bronson Reed, he's this big, massive guy. I'm not even you get it. But I mean you wouldn't expect him to lose by count out unless he got hit with like a very big move, which in this case he did. He got BFT'd onto a chair. Ouchie. But just that was the only part in this match that I like actually cared for is the LA, which is weird because it's Penta and Bronson Reed. I mean, you usually care about them in matches, but I mean, this one just felt weird for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, my only problem with this match was, again, the BFT off of the chair. Because my thought process on that is simple. Oh, no, it's a chair. It's not like I haven't been hit 10,000 times in a single match with a chair and still stood up. In which Bronson Reed has had multiple chair shots onto him in a single match and still stood there standing. So that one spot, I was like, what in the world? So one chair shot now is taking you down?
Well, think about it. Those chair shots you're mentioning all get to the back. He gets them to the back. The reason he couldn't stand is because he got knocked for a loop because he got BFT'd face first on the chair. So your back, you can absorb that kind of damage. The face, there's a little thing behind that called your brain. And when you smack that really hard, it doesn't tell your body the correct signals required to move, stand up on time, and stay standing when it gets bounced around like that. So that's why it would make sense that this one would have kept him down more. It's not often he gets chair shots to the head, if ever.
And they were in a long-ass match.
Yeah, and he was tired. And it's 300 and something pounds he's got to pick up.
Yeah, so Penta winning this, I do absolutely love it because it helps him out as much as possible because, boy, does he need it, especially match-wise, knowing the fact that as of recently, we haven't really been seeing Penta in the ring like we used to. Like right after he debuted, we saw him week after week after week, and now it's more like once every few weeks, maybe a month.
Well, yeah, a big part of that was because he was out on injury for a few weeks after Penta injured his shoulder in the John Cena tournament. I think it was versus Rusev or whatever. Solo, I believe. I can't remember. Anyway,
It was solo.
This was a great look for Penta because Penta not only defeated Bronson, Penta defeated the guy that defeated Roman Reigns at one point a few months ago. So I thought that was a great look for Penta. I wonder why they did it this way. But I don't know. Point is, I lost my train of thought. I'm going to have to edit this out. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm just fucking tired. It was great. I loved it. Good for Penta. He got the win.
Here's the thing. It's good for both men because Bronson still kept strong in a sense because, one, he's protected in the finish because it was interference. Two, he did get a visual pin on Penta. That's two things that are really good for Bron. What's really great for Penta is, one, he's protected in that visual pin because of distraction interference. And two, he still got the actual pin. So they are both up, in my opinion, on their momentum. This was a good piece of business. And I think it helped both guys while also getting over the fact that LA Knight is back. And that's something the fans need to be excited about. What's he going to do next? And where's this going to go? But when it comes down to it, gentlemen, we are going to move on to the final match. But however, what led into the final match, I am going to put in with this. we get the return of Dominic Mysterio. Man, it's good to see this boy back on camera. However, the way he was dressed and the way that he walked out, for a minute, I got nervous that he was going to tell us he was relinquishing shit due to injury because he's coming back from injury. I was like, I don't like seeing you in casual clothes, bro. It gives me bad vibes, you know? So I got really excited when he said the only reason he's here is to introduce his abuelita, Liv Morgan, the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble winner. She comes out, they embrace, she's all excited. She tells him that I am the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time. And on top of that, she decides to say that I'm not telling you who I'm picking yet for WrestleMania because even I don't know. I'm going to take a trip to SmackDown this weekend and get the lay of the land over there. And then out of nowhere, they decide they're going to introduce, because this leads into the third and final match of the evening, Raquel Rodriguez, who has a Philadelphia street fight to get to with Stephanie Vaquer. Raquel gets down to the ring and tells them, hey, this is great. Thank you for the introduction. You're right. I will be the newly crowned Women's World Champion here tonight in just a few short minutes. But Liv, you know, with all this praise going around this week, let's talk about something that actually happened at the Rumble too. Why did you eliminate me? Liv tries to pussyfoot her way around it and say, hey, look, you know, I know you better than anybody. You know, you're not a selfish person. What's good for one of us is good for all of the Judgment Day. But that prompts Raquel to very condescendingly hit back with, you're right, you are right. Well, you know, and in spirit of that, stay in the back tonight. I want to win this on my own without your help and prove that when I beat Stephanie, it's because I did it on my own. Which then they get the fuck out the ring and La Primera comes out and they have a match. They have a very, very long match that was clunky, horribly timed and paced at spots that got messed up. Like Raquel's supposed to take a Hurricane Ron through a table where she just fucking tuck and rolled her way through it and it barely cracked. We had some very odd spots where a chair wedged in the corner fell out right before she was supposed to take a face spot through it. We had a terrible setup with the cameras where when Liv and Roxanne did interfere, the cameras did not catch Roxanne going through the table. In fact, they had to show on replay from the hard cam raised up that she went through. This match did not give it the credence that Raquel is world champion material. In fact, it felt very lackluster and very underwhelming and extremely boring at times to get through this match. But gentlemen, what did you think about this match and the segment that led up to it? Quick on the segment, but give me your thoughts on the match.
The segment, only thing that I'm happy for is that Dom is finally fucking back in the fucking ring. That is literally the only thing. Going into the match, you forgot to mention something, Blood. Stephanie Vaquer gets a new theme. Is it better than her old? Fuck no. Is it still good? Fuck yes. But the match was probably match of the night, even though there was Penta and Bronson Reed, but it was match of the night for me. Even though the few wonky spots like the chair falling out the corner and I mean just Raquel throwing the chair and it hitting her back in the face. Those were the only two mess ups that I spotted. And then obviously the camera work was kind of crap. But other than those two things, no really complaints about the match. I mean, I do think that Liv confirmed on which one she's more than likely to choose for Mania, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be Stephanie. But I don't think I would like to see Liv versus Jade Cargill or Jordan Grace or whoever the fuck is champion by the time Mania season's here. It's probably going to be Jade, but I don't think I want to see that match. I think I'd rather see Stephanie versus Liv. So I hope that Liv chooses Stephanie for WrestleMania.
What bothered me about this match was The timing was off, not just with in-ring, but with commercial breaks. This match went through, what, 2 or 3 commercial breaks? It was a long match. And when it came to the Roxanne spot, what I forgot to mention that just annoyed the piss out of me was she went through a table that we never saw get set up. We saw the one table that Stephanie went through at the very beginning of the match, and the one that Roxanne went through just magically appeared sometime during the commercials. So it's also a matter of the commentary didn't mention it being set up ahead of time. Stephanie got a win, but she also messed up her spinal tap or whatever the fuck she calls it because she barely touched Raquel when she hit it. She almost overshot it. There was a lot of just mismatch here where I can see why this was on a Monday Night Raw and not on a major PLE.
Yeah, so Raquel Rodriguez is not Women's World Champion like I thought she would be. The reason why I initially thought she would be Women's World Champion right now is because of the fact that it's a street fight. I thought, no DQ, Judgment Day galore. And then she said, stay in the fucking back. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're not getting the usual shenanigans. You brought up the fact as well that Roxanne went through a table. And as soon as you said that, I'm like, wait, Roxanne went through a table? Huh? It's like, I completely forgot that happened until you just said it. That is how forgettable this was. But the other table spot, the one that the table barely broke when hit, that one had to hurt like hell because it cracked, but it didn't full on collapse like they usually do. So that was the one spot where I'm like, that had to hurt like hell because it didn't fully break on her.
It didn't even look like it hurt. She literally did a handstand barrel roll through it as safely as possible. And the only reason it broke is because her hands were pushing down on it while she was upside down. Her back didn't even fucking damn near touch it.
And I think at this point, we know who Liv is going after. She's absolutely going after the world title. There is no possible way she's going after that Undisputed. I just don't see it whatsoever. It has to be the women's world title that she's going after.
Yeah, man, this match was a mess, dude. And I hate to say it because I'm a fan of Raquel, but I'm starting to lose all hope for Raquel ever being a top player in the women's world champion, you know, because I just feel like she's not being taken serious enough. Because this just felt like, oh, we're going to have a street fight just because it's in Philly. And, you know, Raquel, you can use all the weapons you want. And even with the help of your friends, you are still not going to be able to defeat Stephanie Vaquer, which I get it. Stephanie Vaquer is over. That's who they're putting all of their attention on. The WWE is cool. Perfect. But everything from the segment with Liv Morgan, kind of just like addressing the elimination when Liv eliminated Raquel, addressing it, but then kind of just not really doing much with that. It's just like, oh, okay, you eliminated me. Oh, well, water under the bridge is kind of like the feeling that I got. That kind of made Raquel look a little goofy, in my opinion. And then she goes on to lose even after having a 4-on-1 situation in a street fight. It's just, man, it just sucks, man. Again, the whole Chelsea Green thing. Raquel just seems like she's just there to make other women look good. But I didn't like this at all, if I'm being honest.
And it's a shame too, because once upon a time, we've said this before, when she was Raquel Rodriguez, she was the biggest threat to Rhea Ripley. Rhea was terrified of her. And a lot of people forget that at one point, like Rhea, who you could argue Rhea might be the most over star in the company, period. She was terrified of Raquel 3.5, 4 years ago. And now Raquel can't even beat Stephanie Vaquer, who's not even close to this. I mean, she's a threat, but she's not a Rhea Ripley threat. When I look at Rhea Ripley's a fucking Avengers level threat. You know, like, and if I'm a heel, I'm going to use, if I'm thinking logically, you're a heel. Why wouldn't you be like, you know what, even though you did eliminate me, fuck it. I want the title in the Judgment Day more than I'm annoyed at you for eliminating me. Stay out here and let's beat the shit out of her and take the title off her in 5 minutes. That simple. You know what I mean? But exactly. I digress. Let's move on to the main event, which to me, this one segment was better than every match on this card. And I don't think that's a shot in the dark to say it. Roman Reigns, and here's the thing. When the match happened, I looked at the clock. When the promo happened, I looked at the clock. And I'm like, it's only like 10:05 or something like that. I'm like, damn, they're ending early. I had completely forgotten at that point that Roman was supposed to show up because it was such a slog to get through this show. Roman comes out, massive pop, of course. Tells the people, you know, he hasn't decided yet who he's going for. It could be Drew. It could be Punk. You know, why not? Let's see. Punk comes out, interrupts Roman, and they have probably one of the best promo bouts they've ever had with each other. And there are not a lot for them to draw from in the history books. They have not really gone back-to-back for promo battles that much. You know, you could say that recently would have been setting up for War Games, and last year for Mania season was really when we've only ever seen these two actually face-to-face in a ring on the mic. And they traded some really good barbs here, and they both made some extremely valid points. CM Punk straight up said, you wouldn't even be here had I not brought you in. You're in the WWE, kayfabe-wise. You're in the WWE because I brought you in the Shield when I was with Paul. And by the way, you were champion for 1,316 days. You know, that's all well and dandy. That's easy to do and easy to be champion when you've had as much help as you've had to be champion that long. How many of your cousins did it take to keep that title on you? And on top of that, he also says, yeah, I had a 434-day title reign, but, and my favorite line, he says, just because you had it longer, just because you did it longer does not mean you did it better. And I thought that was a very, very good barb. Roman fires back. You wouldn't even be here, Punk, without me. It was me and my family that brought this company to a level of elevation that made you want to come back and have a company to come back in the first place, too. Because in Roman's eyes, the company wouldn't have survived without his family keeping them around during COVID. You could make the argument that that is true. After all, the Bloodline is probably the best and most important story told in WWE's recent history of the last 10 to 15 years. But at the end of the day, Roman closed it by saying at WrestleMania, I'm not choosing Drew because he's not good. Drew is great. He's 4 times your size. Punk says, look, yeah, but the last time I was at Drew, they almost ran out of staples trying to put his dumb ass back together when I got through with him. And Roman says, I'm choosing you not because it's easy, but because I hate you. And at WrestleMania in the main event, you will acknowledge me. This was a great promo segment to set up because I doubt we're going to see Roman anytime soon on WWE TV until Mania gets closer. And Punk's probably going to be feuding on and off with Finn Balor in the meantime. So what did you guys think of the closer of the show? I thought it was an extremely strong way to close the show. It was the best thing on the show. I think hands down, that's pretty easy to say.
Weak start to the show, very strong ending to the show. There ain't no doubt about that, honestly. But I called this when he won the Rumble. I full-blown said that he was going after specifically CM Punk because I didn't see him going after Drew McIntyre. And boy, was I right on that. And I love the fact that he brought up what happened at War Games when they were walking up the damn ramp with the fact that Punk did kind of mock Roman Reigns a little bit right after War Games. So this is definitely going to be one hell of a match. And this is the first match that we have for WrestleMania. So, what a first announcement for the first match of WrestleMania for this one. This match alone is absolutely going to put asses in seats. Absolutely.
I would also like to state before Edgar goes very quickly, if this main event's night 2, it's going to shut up all the naysayers that say Punk never main event in Mania. Night 1 doesn't count. If they put Roman on night 2 with him in the main event, Punk is a solidified Mania main eventer, and no one can take that away from him after this year if that happens.
Two of the best in the industry right now, man. Roman and Punk face to face kind of made this whole entire episode of Monday Night Raw worth it, sitting through a lot of just uninteresting things, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but this made up for it, man. Both of these guys told no lies. You know, they have good points, both of them. But this thing got really heated really quick when CM Punk said, listen, bro, like, you're saying that I came back because no one has filled your shoes. Or no, Roman Reigns was like on ESPN saying that he came back, he's coming back because no one's filled his shoes while he's gone or something like that, right? But CM Punk cleared that up real quick when he said, look, bro, I'm not trying to walk in your shoes. I'm not trying to be you. I'm not trying to be better than you, because remember, you lining yourself up with Paul Heyman, you becoming this long time reigning champion, right? It was like 1,000 days or whatever. You took over the game, but remember who did it first. And that's when I was like, oh my God, he's right. Because I remember that day when Roman lined himself up with Paul Heyman. Some of us were getting that, you know, the CM Punk vibes from that. It was a fucking crazy moment, you know? And it was like, damn, CM Punk is right. He did do it first. And I thought that was fucking amazing. And everything else that was said after that was just like, holy shit, you know? The thing about Drew McIntyre's the easy way out. Really? That's the easy way out? I'm pretty sure Drew McIntyre had you crying over some fucking bracelet or something like that. And it's just like, oh my God. This shit was fucking great, man. I can't wait to see this match. It's going to be lovely.
And Roman brought up, actually, very shockingly to me, referenced Colt Cabana straight to Punk's face. Punk, when he originally left WWE the first time, famously went on Colt Cabana's podcast and aired all his grievances in a podcast that wound up getting them both sued by WWE. And it was what led to the disillusionment between the two and ruined their friendship. And so, you know, and remember in AEW, the biggest point of contention that happened with Brawl Out was because the Young Bucks tried to accuse Punk of getting Colt Cabana fired when he was never fired. And they had a whole fight over it, which got him and everybody suspended. And that led to the problems with him and Jack Perry. And then next thing you know, Punk's fired from AEW and comes back here. So that was a really, really low fucking hanging fruit shot there from Roman. But one's got to wonder, do you see, and I mentioned this the other night, do you see Bron Breakker somehow getting added into this match and it becoming a triple threat at WrestleMania?
No, fuck no, please no. But I mean, as good as CM Punk is on the mic, and as good as he is of getting the people behind him, you know, CM Punk was trying to do the whole rah-rah speech. I'm the workhorse now. I'm making the towns. I'm wrestling every week. I'm this, and you're MIA. Roman Reigns fires back. Roman Reigns had an answer to everything that CM Punk was throwing at him, man. You took a 10-year vacation, Punk. What the fuck are you talking about? Working champion my ass. And everything that they were saying to each other felt real, man. It didn't feel like some bullshit script, man. Like you can feel the tension between these two guys. You can feel the animosity between these two guys. This feels like a fucking big match main event at WrestleMania, man. And
Roman also, before we close out, Roman also, what made it feel really, hard hitting was they went low, but in some ways they pulled the curtain back to do it. So it felt more legitimate. It felt more real. Roman saying, I shook your hand like a man in War Games. And what did you do? You looked at me and you said, I thought we had a moment. You said Zebros or some shit. Because they were both in Zootopia 2 voicing over zebra cops together. And Punk had like a moment with Roman in the thing. And then he goes, and then what did you do right after I shook your hand like a man? You're on the ramp behind me, essentially mocking me on the ramp right after you shook my hand to my face. And it's just like, it's what I love to see in my pro wrestling. A little bit of the kayfabe mixed in with some shoot. And I think it was great. I thought this was a great way to kick off the road to Elimination Chamber and Mania. But what a way to cap off an extremely underwhelming episode of Monday Night Raw. Gentlemen, that was the Monday Night Raw review for February 2nd, 2026. We're going to get out of here. Thank you for kicking it with us as always. If you love hanging out with us, you can do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after Raw, NXT, and SmackDown go off the air respectively for live post-show reviews. Then you can hang out with us every single Thursday night on TikTok Live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and 8 o'clock Central for one-on-one relevant and random wrestling topics for an hour between myself, Mr. Blood, and the host and founder of Snug Wrestling, Edgar. Then, of course, guys, you can always support this channel by heading over to our tpublic.com/Snug Wrestling, where you can pick up your wrestling merch. We have over 100 designs on dozens of pieces of apparel to support this podcast. And if you like bonus content, check out all of our socials for reaction content from segment to segment on all the WWE AAA programming. And of course, guys, you can always hang out with us for those podcasts on Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And when we're live on YouTube Live, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, and Facebook Live. So, guys, until next time, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And Tommy, because I have no idea where the fuck Toxic went, that was one time for the one time. I said that was
4 letters. One word.
One word.